Hey everybody, so this is my trip to Bonaire. Right now what I'm showing is the salt lakes. You can see it's pink. They did a huge salt mining thing over in Bonaire and it's really neat. There's these big excavators and stuff like that. That's over on the left hand side and these big ponds of salt. This is going right into our first dive here at 1,000 steps. It's nice with the diving in Bonaire. It's all go as you wish. You're free to roam around the island except for one spot, and they have all the dive sites labeled. You have them all on a map, and you can do as much diving as you can possibly do. 1,000 Steps was one of my favorite dives. It wasn't our first day there, but we got to see a sea turtle, which you see right here. And these sea turtles, they do not care. They let you film, they hang out. Absolutely beautiful. Follow this guy for a little while. Bonaire's water was so clear. I can't wait to go back one day. And this is one of my first trips to a Caribbean island. And pretty much right when I first started learning how to dive. Now we're on our way to the next dive site. We actually rented a car. And at our resort, they'll fill up your tanks. If you have nitrox, you could take the nitrox tanks and then go around the island, bring your tanks back, grab new ones, keep going. Beautiful school of fish there. I was also learning how to film on this trip. I had an old GoPro Hero 4, had no stabilization features in it at all, so some of these clips are a little rocky and I apologize for that. This is the Hilma Hooker, an old ship that was sank in Bonaire. Pretty neat story to it. Apparently it was like a drug running boat and they left it in the port at Bonaire and they got caught and they started having some issues. It was probably about 92 feet deep, 95. I might show it here on my computer. But all of the pumps failed on the Hilma Hooker, and they think that they sunk it on purpose, but they sunk the ship because it wasn't going anywhere, and now it's an awesome dive site. It actually rolled off that cliff. And you can get into the ship a little bit more and search, but this is just like the wheelhouse. This was kind of an easy swim through. Once again, one of my first times. That's Steve in front of me. We went down with a bunch of our fire department dive. Steve and I inside the wheelhouse, which is all sideways. Awesome experience. And it's funny because all of this is still relatively new to me in these dives. So the experience was wild. Just watching your bubbles go to the surface and just it was completely surreal. So now I gave the camera to Steve. Steve actually was a little bit more experienced at the filming than I was. So you can see that the camera's held much steadier. The Hilma Hooker was really cool. When you're on this side, it actually shades you and the water's colder. What's neat is that Bonaire's water, there was no temperature difference from the surface to 90 feet deep, which was really neat. This is the back of the Hilma Hooker. We had a nice long dive on this, and we actually went back a couple times because this one wasn't the best visibility day. And we had one day it was absolutely awesome. You could see from one side to the other. Dylan here in front of me. Fixing something. He's just swimming back. You can see the size of the tarpon. Probably as long as I am with my fins on. These things were no joke. We did do one night of night diving, and when you do night diving with tarpon, you take your spotlights and you shine them on little fish, and the tarpon will actually follow you, and they'll use your light to help them hunt at night, and they will snag up the fish really quick. It's awesome. I don't know if I have any videos of that. This is one of our dives. Steve's mask broke, so he had to borrow one of our boat captain's masks, which was kind of funny. So he's had that orange mask on. This was the cliff. This one was a drift dive, which was cool. There's our cat, Kevin. We named him Kevin. He came, hung out, and would fall asleep on the couch next to us when we were outside having a few drinks. This was one of the first dives, so we left in the morning, got out, and did our first dive at 7 a.m., and that was our first dive. Here's actually one of our night dives. Massive puffer fish bounces into our buddy Rich's dive light, which was really funny. I want to get his video perspective, because he has it where the thing just floats and smacks his dive light and just keeps going on. Here's another beautiful turtle. Turtles are some of the best things to see when you're diving. They're so fun to take videos of. They're just elegant. Got a little bit of coral here. All of Bonaire is like national parks, so you actually have to pay for a registration that you're going to be diving. And everything's in really good shape. Sometimes you find some anchors and things like that. Some parrotfish. Nice eel. I always try to stay away from them the best I can. There's another little eel. He was a tiny one. He was pretty fun. Almost looked like a snake. Some sort of type of goby, looked like. Oh, there you go. There's Dylan doing the windmill. Had to add that in there. Nice school of baby barracuda. This was really neat. Dylan swam right through them. See them all shimmering. Did a dive in North Carolina, and the barracuda were absolutely massive, and they follow the divers. It's a little freaky. You want to make sure you don't have anything shiny on you, because they love to take out shiny shit. Nice angelfish. A little trumpet fish before. Came swimming up to my camera. This guy wasn't afraid. And it's funny because the GoPro is a wide angle, so I'm really holding this camera pretty close to this guy to get a close-up shot. Pretty sure it's like a horned trunk fish. Something along those lines. These guys, they just munch down on all the coral and then they poop everywhere. Another nice angelfish. Definitely saw a lot of lionfish. They are really cool, and when you get close to them, they expand like that. Try to tell you to get the hell away. Nice flounder. And watch how he changes colors when he lands on the spot he wants to be. Swims right up. Boom, changes color. Blends right in. That is so cool. Found this old bottle. Probably not great to dump all that dirt and sand on his apex regulator, but it was a good shot. One of our dives, we had a really strong surging current, and it was definitely a good experience. You get that current blowing you, so you have to stop, and then you swim with the current so you don't wear yourself out. Make it nice and easy. We were pretty close to shore, so it wasn't anything too crazy. This was a baby turtle. He was just swimming right out in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful sand, got nice and close. Right here, I was pretty much resting the camera on the back of his shell. These guys were cool. Sometimes if you lay down your camera, the fish will come out and see their reflection in the camera. This was our last dive. We did a dive. We left our truck at one dive site and swam all the way down to the Hilma Hooker, and then we surfaced, and we were going to walk back, and this guy offered us a ride back, so we all just sat on the tailgate and drove us down to our dive site so we could hop in our truck, and that was the end. That was a cool experience to finish off the dive trip. Absolutely loved Bonaire. Can't wait to go back.